there are so many issues that I feel like we should not just take one issue, because every issue is linked to another issue. For example, there have been a lot of conversations about climate change, climate action, climate justice, but we cannot tackle climate if we don't tackle conflict. And we cannot tackle conflict if we don't tackle governance and democracy. We cannot tackle governance and democracy if we don't tackle inclusion, including the inclusion of women. We can't talk about women in leadership without talking about education and access to education. We can't talk about all of these things if we don't talk about poverty, food, security, ocean life, and all of these different things. So I think what we need to begin to pay attention to is our collective humanity. And I think this is what is missing in the world that we live in. We've gotten to the place where even in our attempt to solve problems is silo. Everyone is thinking, my work is better, mine is more important, mine is more. So there's never that feeling of how do we link all of the different things that we're doing so that we get closer to an agreement, but closer to a solution, a global solution, because you know that every problem that is solved in an exclusive or collaborative way is easier to find solutions than problems that are solved in singular manner. So I think to say one issue will be doing disservice to the world, because like for example here, what the issue may be, if we're working on it, you just step out of this region, there's another issue. So the question now is, how do we treat the world, or how do we begin to think about our collective humanity so that when you are wasting water, you're thinking about the next person.
I'm passionate about cultural heritage, so for me it's always all about our cultural heritage, and cultural heritage is an integral component of any one of the global challenges that we're all facing. So without looking at cultural heritage, we will not be able to resolve, in my opinion, any of the problems that we're looking at, or even achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in a timely manner. So if we're talking about our cultural heritage, we're talking about identity, who we are, what is important to us. And unless people understand that about themselves and know how to define it, it's very difficult to take any action moving forward. It's closely related to values. So we're talking about peace, understanding, cooperation, working together as a global community. How do we do that? How do we find those common things that will enable us to do that? We do that through our cultural heritage. It is the set of values that we have inherited throughout history that we all share as human beings, that is important to all of us as human beings. When we're talking about global climate change, we've got to look back in history about the ancient civilizations, communities throughout history. How did they deal with these issues? What were their skill sets? What was their knowledge base? What are the resilience strategies that they employed to deal with crises, with challenges? And how do we learn from that to understand how we can then adapt these resilience strategies and deal with our own challenges? Creativity and innovation. You look at these incredible monuments carved in stone and you think, what were these people thinking with simple tools to carve these incredible, monumental, beautiful buildings?
Can you tell me, what do you think of this? What's your first impression?
The impression is here people came for centuries here, thousands of years, and under such a hardship, but build something like this, they didn't have to. That's what the human being is all about. They want to create beauty out of nothing, out of stones. Look at all those stones. They turn into this beautiful shape and color and so on. And the lines are so straight, and how the skill and everything they put together and still survives. So that's what the human beings are all about. It's not about just daily life or making a living and so on. That's not it. Human beings look for something sublime, something big. And this is one of the symbols from thousands of years back.
We've packed in a lot, that's all I can say, but our Ula is just amazing, really interesting. The tragedy is that I won't be around in about 100 years' time when this city, which is buried underneath the ground, will be brought back to life with intense archaeological excavations. But it's been absolutely amazing. It's been an eye-opener. I think that most people, they associate Saudi Arabia with geopolitics and also oil. We don't think about anything beyond those paradigms. So this has been great. And it's actually quite sad to leave, but that's life. C'est la vie.